Thus it shall be done to you, O Bethel. Thus it shall be done to you, O Bethel. Remember that Jacob fell asleep in Bethel, and that is a representation of how the two witnesses will die in Bethel. But Bethel means the house of the Elohim, house of Elohim. So Bethel, as many Jewish, well, claim or teach, Bethel is a representation of Jerusalem. Even though Bethel is a different place to the north of Jerusalem, when Jacob went through that revelation, there is a connection between Jerusalem and Bethel, because Bethel means house of Elohim, because he saw the entrance to the heaven. But the temple was built in Jerusalem, and they called the temple the house of Elohim, and Yahushua was killed there. So, since the two witnesses will be killed in the same place that Mashiach was killed, then most likely will be in Jerusalem. If he's not in Jerusalem, will be in Bethel. But the fact that many things happen in Bethel to represent the death of the two witnesses has to do with the fact that Bethel means the house of Elohim. So they will kill the two witnesses in the place that they claim is where the house of Elohim should be. So, thus it shall be done to you, O Bethel, O house of Elohim, like it happened in the year 70 when the temple of Elohim was destroyed, and just like it will happen to those people who claim to be the temple when they kill the two witnesses, they will be destroyed as the temple was destroyed in the year 70. Thus it shall be done to you, O Bethel, because of your great wickedness. Adon, the king of Israel, shall be cut off utterly. Adon, the king of Israel, shall be cut off utterly. So, remember I just read Revelation 6 about the beginning of the 1,000 years during the sixth seal. To Yahweh, one day is as 1,000 years. So the 6 days in which he created the world were to represent 6 millenniums, 6,000 years in which human history would be in sin. After that, Yahweh will put an end to sin, and the 1,000 years will begin. Of those 1,000 years, the first 4 years will be still part of the punishment, part of the plagues, but the few will be in the prepared place at least 6 months, 7 months after the beginning of the 1,000 years. Obviously, 7 months in 1,000 years is just a few seconds. So my point in all of this is that it says, because of your great wickedness, Adon, the king of Israel, shall be cut off utterly. But the scripture had just said that Israel was saying that they have no king. For now they say we have no king. So why is now saying your king shall be cut off utterly? Because I'm talking prophetically. In the end times, the prophet like Moshe appears and testifies as the thief in the night, so people won't recognize him. So people will say we don't have a king while the king is preaching. We don't have a king while the king is trying to reach them. So then Yahweh tells them all their sins, all their punishment, and at the end says, thus shall be done to you, O Bethel, O house of Elohim, O people who claim to be those who have the presence of Elohim within them, because of your great wickedness, the apostasy. Adon, the king of Israel. So when the new day begins, the 1,000 years, the 7th 1,000 years start, that will be done. So the king of Israel will be killed right when the 1,000 years are beginning. So when the 1,000 years are starting, the witness like Moshe will be killed. So the king of Israel shall be cut off utterly because of your great wickedness. So because of the wickedness of the people, the rebellion of the many, the witness like Moshe will have to die. And through his death, something will be paid so that the many can also be part of the eternity, but in a different way than the few. So this is also interesting because shall be cut off utterly also connects with Daniel 9 when it says that Mashiach Nagid would appear and Mashiach would be cut off. but not for himself. So we see here shall be cut off. But regarding the king used to be a prince. In Daniel 9 it says Messiah the prince, but Messiah will be cut off. And then the prince of the people who destroyed the temple, meaning Bethel, the house of Elohim, the prince, the Nagid, will appear and confirm the covenant. To Christians, that's the Antichrist, and I have explained that already in Daniel, so you can go and see that. But that prince is the second coming. That's why Mashiach Nagid, Mashiach is cut off, and then Nagid appears, who becomes a king when he is killed or also cut off utterly at the dawn of the 1,000 years, which is the last day of this reality. I hope all of that is clear. I think it's very important. I think this chapter is amazingly revealing, and it connects perfectly with everything that is going on in the world right now. So, because of your great wickedness at dawn, the king of Israel shall be cut off utterly. So I just wanted to make sure about that connection with Daniel 9. When Messiah is cut off, we see here the king being cut off. The king was the Nagid, and Messiah obviously was the one who was cut off or killed 2,000 years ago.